Good morning and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, December the 12th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses. These are our trade plans. We do not know what the market's going to do. We can just look at what the normal auction would look like in different scenarios of who's in control, and then we wait for the market to open up, show us who's in control, and then we execute the plan that best suits the market. This is a subscription service. If you're interested in checking it out, please send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So going to yesterday and our trade plan from yesterday, our main hypothesis was an open auction just out of range, a move down to test the value area, and somewhere between the value area and the VPOC, possibly even a trip through value, we were looking for the responsive buyers to step in and rotate us up into the overnight high and then go sideways and possibly get a probe up into the 63.75. Hypo 2 was the opposite, with rotation up first to the 63.75 and then rotate down into the prior day and go sideways. We were not expecting a lot of range. We were anticipating between a 8 and 10 point range. We basically got just over a 10 point range. Hypo 3 was an open test drive that failed to take out the naked close and leave the gap and go higher into the 68 and make new all-time highs. We kind of got a combination of 1 and 3 where we came up here and we went sideways, and then we had that late day probe that basically just ran out of time, and then overnight, what did we do? We go and test that 68 and put in a weak high at 68. So let's take a look at the news today. Again, tomorrow is the FOMC, and Trump is going to be doing a speech tomorrow on the budget. So we've got a lot of news tomorrow. We had core PPI, this morning in PPI, and basically it was a slight beat and a hit, and it really didn't do anything for the market. We basically have only traded since the news has come out, I think, a point and a half, so not much. 2 minutes, we've got Redbook, not going to be a big mover. The big one today is going to be the ECB. Draghi speaking. We do have federal budget. These are both at 2 o'clock. 1 o'clock, we've got the 30-year bond auction, and 11:30, we've got the 4-week bond auction. But that's it for the news today as far as scheduled news. So taking a look at the macro to micro, I always like to start my day looking at a basic candlestick chart. I use a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA on all my charts. I use my toss paper money because I like the drawing tools on it for historical. And basically what I'm looking for is where we are within the different time frames in terms of trending. And I start with a monthly and I work my way down into the intraday. And what I'm looking for is, do we have slope and separation? Is there a pattern? Is there any measured moves that we can have projected high probable targets? You can see that the monthly, we have very strong slope and separation, nowhere close. I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, look at this move from this point right here back in November on the election. We have had just a unbelievable strong trend, and we're basically in our 13th month of this trend that just has no substantial pullback whatsoever. We've only had 1 month that closed below its open, and the close on it was 57.50, which is basically only 7 points off of the open of the month, but still above the prior month open, which was way down here at 22.77. Going to the weekly, and just we've been watching this upward sloping fork, and we still have room to go this month to get into the 2700 before we actually hit the upward channel. And you could actually even project this here if I want to even put another channel line in here. I could go from here and that would project us into the 2800s. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I do think that we're in an incredible rally right now. We're not getting any pullbacks. The caveat to all of this is that we do have the Fed announcement tomorrow, and that might be the first pullback before we start the Santa Claus rally. Either we're in the Santa Claus rally and we don't get any pullback, and the market has already priced in the expected Fed rate hike, or we get a pullback. And the pullback of any large magnitude, even if we went down into the low 2500s, it still does not violate the trend that we're in on the monthly. Going to the weekly, you can see again, good slope, good separation. Price is paralleling the 9 nicely. We still have no sign of violating this trend. The weekly doesn't get challenged until we get down to the 2609 area. Going to the daily, again, we put in that high last week at 2668. They came back and tested the 9, and then we bounced again. And now we have a week high up here at the 2668. And good slope, good separation, no sign. The trend doesn't get challenged on the daily until the 2646, I should say, and doesn't even get violated until we get down to that 2620 area. Going to the intraday, the 4-hour, you can see same thing. We're creating a bit of a triple top up here on the 4-hour. I am expecting this 2668 to get broken today. We're just trading down below it right now at 67.50. We're probably going to even break it before we get into the RTH session. Then we'll have an unequalized high between the Globex and the regular trading session. Trend doesn't get challenged until we get below the 2662 area, and doesn't get violated until we get below the 5275. Going to the 1-hour, we are seeing a bit of a stall out. We're losing some separation. We still have slope. This is just a consolidation in my mind. But if we do break 2665 area, look for them to pull back into the prior day range. Our high from the prior day range is 65. Our close from 65, we closed right at the high yesterday. Going to the 15-minute, again, you can see this consolidation. Bit of a cup and handle pattern here, but I'm not going to measure it because it's pretty sloppy. Let's just see if it violated just quickly. Yeah, it violated, so it's not really a good pattern. But basically just consolidation. Going to the 5-minute, you can see that we had come down here after the news, and then we rotated right back up, and we're back above the 9 and the 20. So still very strong. Taking a look at the bigger picture in terms of volume, we have this long consolidation of balance. We break out of balance. We accept price above the value area of that balance at the 2600 area. Then we get a move up, and basically we go into this. We create 2 days balance in around the 2875. Then we go in and we put in a new all-time high, come back to that balance, accept it, pick up late buyers, accept the value higher, then we get another gap and a breakout. And now we're in price discovery. And we said to watch this 59 area. If we could come up and accept this 59, look for them to challenge the all-time high. And here we are. We're looking at the possibility of another gap day, and and continue price discovery. There's not much up here to guide us. The week open is 2640.75. I'm sorry, that's the month open. The week open is 2655 in the Globex. The week open in the RTH is 2663. There is a measured move that we've got at 7150, but that's about all we have. That is, we get the 7150, and then we've got the eighth or the quarter at 2675. It's going to be key whether or not, if we get back inside of the prior day, we're likely to come and balance out here again, coming into the Fed announcement tomorrow. But I do say, but this market is not auctioning normally. Normally, we would have had a pullback, and we would have pulled back to test this the 2650 area already, and they just do not. I think they're trying to get as high as possible for the expected rotation off of the Fed rate if they raise rate. There are some people, and I happen to be one of them, that thinks that there's possibility they won't raise rates, but seeing where we are and at an all-time high, they'd be pretty silly not to, because the market can absorb this rotation that will happen without any real the sky is falling type of news. And then we can get a pullback that is 2% maybe, and then start working our way up into the Santa Claus rally. If it's going to happen, if any pullback is going to happen, it's likely going to be this week. So just be cautious. Risk is still to the upside, but be cautious not to get stubborn on any longs or any shorts. Just keep your risk tight this week. In terms of the overnight session is very balanced. We've got a good Gaussian distribution. The VPOC, we're accepting price higher up here above the prior day range, 65.75. We did dip in a couple times into the prior day, but every time we dipped in, the buyers stepped in pretty strong, and we had strong rotations outside of that, and we're currently trading up above the prior day. So taking a look at yesterday, our overnight high for the night is currently at 68, right on top of that all-time high. Our overnight low is 63.50. Our VPOC, it could shift, but currently right now is 65.75. And really, that's all the information that we've got. We've got a measured move at 71.50. Now we did get that zipper, and I wanted to see on that zipper. We got no, we didn't put in the zipper. I thought we put in the zipper, but we didn't. We have the two bars, and so that doesn't give me any information. In terms of the levels that you should be watching today, obviously 65. Anything below 65, especially if they don't take out the overnight low, overnight high, look for them to, take out the overnight low. There's this LVN right here at 62, and then the value area is very valid from yesterday. So I'm going to be watching between the LVN here at 62.75 and the value area high here at 61.75 for possible buyers to step in. But if we break through, this will be a really good rotation back down to the 59, because remember that the 59 area is the VPOC from the, what turned out to be a bit of a blow off top, and that rotation from 68 down to 26. So the last spot they tried to hold value before they had a counter rotation of some 40 points was at the 59. So if we break below the 62, from 62 to 59.75, and 59 is going to be a pretty good risk reward trade. Then we've got this value area low down here. There's a little bit of an LVN here at 57.50, so we got to do the same thing. We're going to put a slush zone between that. So when I talk about slush zones, what I'm talking about is on the longs, you want to be above the top of that zone to confirm, and on the shorts you want to be below to confirm if you're looking to enter a trade. If you're looking to add on to a trade, you've got to be careful, but you should be looking to scale if you're already in a trade, if you're coming into one of these zones and you have multiples to scale. Below the 57, then I think things get a little bit weaker, and we've got the gap close still below us. We closed the range gap, but we did not close the gap close, and the gap close is down here at 54. So anything below the 56 area, I'm looking to target this 54. Therefore, I'm not going to be trying to trade in this level, but I am going to put a trade level there because of the fact it is the top of a range and the possibility that buyers could step in front of that 54. So I just have to be careful, and it's really got to be a slush zone. We've got 3 slush zones now. Below that, it's all about coming back to the 50.75. Remember, the 50.75 is our value area high here at this longer time frame micro composite. So if we come down here and we don't bounce off of this VPOC, then we're coming back into balance, and the first target below inside of balance is going to be the 47.75. And then we've got the other gap down here in the 40s, and nothing really changes. If we get back down here, I'm really looking for them to come down and challenge the December month open. But I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with tomorrow rather than today. Our daily 20-period full session average true range running at 1998. So off of the overnight low, our upside target, daily ATR target, is all the way up here to 2683.50. So we have lots of room for continuation of this based on our average true range off of the current overnight high. And again, this is just possibly going to get taken out We're coming back a little bit, but we're only 3 ticks off of the all-time high. So I'm anticipating that I'm going to have to adjust these numbers. So you'll have to adjust them after we close this. 68 minus the 1998, that takes us down to the 48. So we have our downside daily ATR at 48. And we can get rid of this trade level then and put this here. So range capabilities based on the average true range. Think about that. A couple months ago, our 20-period daily ATR was down below 11, or around 11, and now we're close to 20. So we went from compression, coiling, getting ready to expand, and now we're in this expansion, and we're putting in new all-time highs. So in terms of hypotheses, well, we're going to open up in a gap. So my hypos are going to change slightly because I have to put a higher probability of leaving a gap again. I mean, we've been leaving all these gaps. If you look at the amount of gaps that we still have below us, it's absolutely incredible. So the market has been acting that way. So my main hypothesis, though, is an open auction out of range, finding responsive buyers. I mean, the inventory overnight is pretty balanced, but it is more to the short side in terms of the open, but in terms of the close yesterday, it's more balanced. So I would say that you're, about 60% net short based on, how we traded overnight. But I'm looking for an open auction out of range. We're likely to put in a new all-time high before then. We still have lots of time left. But I'm looking for a move down into the prior day range. And the first spot, I'm looking for the possibility of a counter rotation and back up is right here at the overnight low. But if we get into the value area, then I'm looking for a bigger trip down into the value area and then finding buyers and rotating and going sideways. I think we're going to go sideways today, fighting the high here or inside of yesterday's range if we do not get a gap and go, which is my second hypothesis. So my second hypothesis is a open test drive, come down like we did yesterday, test the range high, or or just dip inside, but basically do an open test drive, buyers take control and take us right up into new all-time highs somewhere in the 70s, and then basically just go sideways, and then on the close come back towards the overnight VPOC and close somewhere in around the 65 to 68 area. That is my hypo 2. Hypo 3 is an open auction out of range, a push up into new highs, then responsive sellers stepping in, rotating us back down, chopping between the 62 and the 65, coming down to 59 and going sideways and closing somewhere around the 59 and creating a 3-day micro composite with the VPOC in around the 59, a 3-day or a 2-day. And then hypo 4 is an open auction out of range, false breakout to new all-time highs, somewhere between 68 and 71, rotation down to 59, chop around here, and then push down, closing this gap down here at the 54, chopping here, maybe a late date probe down to the 50 area, and then finding buyers and rotating us back up towards that 55, 56 area. So those are my main hypotheses. The fourth alternative hypothesis is we have a 6-point range going sideways, chopping at the high, and just going in a sideways consolidation, waiting on news with very little volume and very little participation. I'm not going to do Russell this morning because I had to shovel my driveway. I am going to take a quick look at gold. Where'd my gold chart go? So we have come down, and we're creating a weak low here. We did not. I was looking for buyers to step in the 48 area. We did not find them. We're continuing to push on the lows. The key one to keep an eye on today is the 40 area. If we do not hold the 40 area, look for them to dip down. The next big destination below us, of course, is going to be all the way down here in the 29 area. If we can hold this level in the 42 to 44 level, look for a possibility, especially if we get a pullback in the equities, rotation back up into the 50 area and basically going sideways. Not expecting a big move in gold again coming into the Fed announcement. That will likely happen. We're likely to have a big day tomorrow in gold. So that's going to complete my pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.